welcome back to the Paws Up podcast, episode 35. As always, I am joined by my good friends and co-hosts Jake Gibson, Jonathan Marin. We are here with FIU's men's soccer player Bernardo de Santos Monteiro. Thank you so much for joining us, Bernardo. We're excited to have you on.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I want to start off just talking quickly about the season, how it's been going on for you guys. Obviously, get off to a really hot start. You guys are ranked as high as 7th in the nation. Then you guys kind of go to a little rocky start there with a non-conference play, get out of the top 25, go back in, just kind of take us through the season so far.
No, it's as you said, it was a very good start that we had, and then throughout some games, there are some games that we underperformed, and then we figured out what was going wrong, and we've been improving as a team, game after game. Some games harder than others, of course, but we're right where we want to be. We're first in our conference. Everything is in our hands to win it, and that's the position that we want to be. But tomorrow we have a non-conference game, so that's our focus for now is St. Mary's, and after that we can focus in conference. But right now we're only focused on Saturday's game.
I want to go back to kind of when you started playing soccer. Just at what point in your life did you think this is what I want to do? I want to be a soccer player.
So since I was very, very young, you can, well, I mean, you don't know any of because I'm from Portugal, so of course you don't know my friends and my family from there, but they could all tell you that since a very young age, my dad took me to my first soccer club when I was 4 or 5 years old. And of course, by then I didn't know that I wanted to be, but I already liked soccer because my dad was also a soccer player. And as I've been growing, and I feel like when I was around like 7, 8 years old, that's when I started realizing this is really what I want to do. By that time, Ronaldo was playing at Man United, those glorious days. And I would watch every single game. I would watch YouTube videos of him. I would watch YouTube videos of Kaká when he was at AC Milan, Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo. Like I would watch all these YouTube videos and think, I want to be like this one day. And that's how it started. Of course, at the moment, it was just a vision and just a far ahead dream. But as the years, went by, it became a true objective and a true goal of myself. But yeah, that's definitely how I started when I was way, way young.
So Bernardo, you had mentioned coming from Portugal, right? Of course, here in the U.S., the NFL is the big sport, but I'm assuming over in Europe, of course, it is dominated by soccer or football, as it's called over there. So just talk to us a bit more about the soccer scene specifically in Portugal. You had mentioned Cristiano Ronaldo, but besides that, just from growing up to a young age to, of course, your time in school and onward, just wherever you looked, was there just soccer, just billboards, banners, just everywhere you looked? Is Portugal just a country dominated by that sport?
Yeah. There's we have hockey. Portugal is very strong at hockey. Mm-hmm. Portugal is very strong at futsal. We're the best, or I don't know if he is right now, but he was for a good amount of years. Ricardinho, he's a Portuguese player, and he was the best in the world. So Portugal and Brazil, they have a big tradition in futsal too, but soccer is definitely the biggest sport. Is what you see every kid playing. Is I remember I lived in my neighborhood there in Portugal, and I had a soccer field right in front of my home, and I would literally finish school, go home, put my school bag, everything at home, and I would go there and I would stay there for 2-3 hours. My mom would need to scream at me from the window, like telling me to go up to go have dinner. And it was me, and it was so many other kids. Like soccer in Portugal, and I would risk to say in Europe in general, it is the biggest sport, and the sport that the most of the kids want to play. But lately, we have a Portuguese basketball player for the Boston Celtics, Nemias, I think. and he's not playing with the NBA team, but he's like there on and off. I don't know. I think NBA they have a first and second team, right?
Well, yeah, like the G League, I believe it's called.
Yeah. So like Portugal has been growing in that way too. In different sports. But yeah, I would definitely say that soccer is the main one.
So, something else I wanted to know about Portugal is just the difference in weather, culture, food, just everything. When you had to finally make the trip from Portugal to here in Miami to join FIU, just what was the culture shock like for you leaving Europe, heading to North America, and just obviously, of course, Spanish is still or Portuguese, of
Yeah.
course, Spanish, very similar language, but similar in that sense, but still, I would think two very different parts of the world otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, when America, like when you come to US for the first time, and I can tell you when I got to Miami for the first time, I literally thought that I was in a movie. Everything is big. Now I'm used to it, but when you get here from Portugal or from any other European country, everything here is big. The roads are big, the cars are big, and then you get here is palm trees all around. I got inside of FIU, and college in Portugal is a place where you study. It's not a place where you live. It's not a place where you have literally a small city inside of a college campus like FIU had.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came here and I got inside the campus, it blew my mind, like the entry, and then I literally thought that I had a small city inside of FIU.
Yeah.
So it's
Wow.
very different.
Mhm.
But of course, FIU, Florida International University, there's a lot of international people. So uh, there's such a big mix of cultures here, which is it's beautiful to see people from all around the world coming here. But it wasn't hard to adapt. I was also lucky with my team. They helped me a lot adapting, and I started meeting people, and everything went through its way. But there's a big difference. I do miss Portuguese food, but I cannot complain from food from here. It's just a little bit different. But besides that, everything is big. The Here is a little bit more advanced way of seeing things, advanced way of school. Even though arguably I had more hardships during school in Portugal than during school here, but it's a different way of seeing it. And then also another thing, if you are a soccer player in Portugal, like it's very hard for you to combine soccer with school. Like or you'll do one or you'll do the other. And here, they give us a chance to do both. So that's also a big difference, and it was of course a big reason for me to come here too. But yeah, adaptation wasn't that hard. I loved it, to be honest. Every single moment here, I loved it. But it's definitely different. It's definitely different.
Well, now you got me curious, Benny. What is your go-to Portuguese food? Like, what is the staple food in Portugal?
Oof, it's hard right now. A plate that I always have when I go to Portugal is called francesinha, and it's hard to explain how it's how it's made, but it's basically bread with steak, with cheese, with um I don't. Yeah, if you want to look it up, you can look it up. But with cheese, it has also ham, but everything cooked with egg on top of it, and then a beautiful sauce like on top of all that, and then some fries as well. But there's so much, like there's a lot of Portugal is very known for its fish. Fish is so good there, for its wine. Even though I'm not that big of a wine drinker, every time that I go there, I like to drink a glass or two. Like it's very good. Um, and yeah, there's some other things, but if you guys ever go to Portugal, I can recommend you guys a couple places to go, and you guys will definitely like it.
Definitely.
Is that a road trip, Kevin?
Maybe
A road trip.
maybe an airplane.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, Benny, I kind of want to know about your process in coming here to FIU. Obviously, you had a career, before coming to FIU. Talk a little about your soccer before FIU and also how you came to FIU as well and playing collegiate soccer.
So yeah, I started playing very early, but more seriously, or when I started playing at a higher level, was when I was around 14 years old. That I went to an academy of Estoril, which is a first league club there in Portugal right now. I spent 3 years there, and after that, I moved to the Netherlands. I transferred to a second division club there called Almere City. I stayed there for a couple of years. After that, I moved to Cyprus, and I stayed there for a little bit too, for 2 3 months, and came back to Portugal because didn't feel like it was the right step for me. Didn't feel like I was gonna, I was going to develop and have the career path that I was dreaming of having. So it was a decision that I've made when I was younger and not a really thoughtful decision, but part of it. I'm here now, so it brought me here, so I'm fine with that decision. But then I went back to Portugal. I went to a third division club. That's a time where I had some hardships because I was not playing for the first team. I was playing for the second team, and the second team was in the low divisions. And I managed to work myself up and to transfer to another third team club in Portugal. And there I was playing for the first team, so I was actually playing in the third division of Portugal. And that's when I came to contact to a couple companies that bring athletes from Europe to the US. And I worked with a guy called Joao. I worked with him, Joao Delgado from Venture Soccer USA. Very very good guy. And he explained me the process of how what it means to come to the US, about studying, playing at a high level, and giving me the chance of giving the next step and become a pro. Um, the first time that I heard it, I was not super excited about it because I don't know. It's like an idea that when like players from Europe that are used to playing there, like at a professional level or whatever, like, and college in Portugal or in any other European country, like, because who plays college there is like, it's not really serious. So when you hear about playing college in US, you think, you make the connection like, it's probably not that serious, so you don't really get. So it took me a while to understand and to really see that here playing college, especially for a very good team, as I was lucky to come to FIU, will give me all the opportunities that I need to become a pro, and it's actually a step closer to do that. And that's how we started. So, and then got in contact with a couple universities. Once FIU reached out to me, it was clear for me to see that that's the place where I wanted to go, to be part of. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, this is to
They're
be part
like,
of.
if I'm not mistaken, Kevin and Johnny, you guys are at the basketball arena, right? The offices.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, it's Benny. Oh
Yeah.
So Benny, I do
my
want to.
bad.
You're good. I want to
Yeah.
ask you about about your coming to FIU. Obviously, only playing making one appearance in that 2021 season, not getting much action. Just how difficult was it for you, kind of, to make that transition and new schemes, new conference, at FIU?
I mean, I don't. I played every game of the season of my first season here in FIU.
Really?
So
It's
yeah,
a one appearance. So okay.
nah,
So
I
just
even
what
got
was the
the.
transition like? Going to FIU and learning this
Uh,
new scheme there for you. Just how different was the competition? Would you say?
no, it was definitely, when I came here, it was different. Very intense. Very, a lot of quality players as well. But very intense way of playing. Um, very winning mentality that I was not used to having, because the teams that I played in my past, they were good teams, but they were not championship winning teams.
Mhm.
So knowing that winning is a must and not a if, and then you can ask Coach Kyle. Like I had to learn how to defend better. That was one of the things that I needed to improve on. Uh, and yeah, it was a different style, but I worked hard. The team helped me to adapt, and yeah, ended up having an actually very good first season here. So yeah.
And I want to know a little more about last year. Obviously, you guys were able to get a pair of the conference championships, and new conference, and for you had some really major goals over the course of last year, and so many moments. Talk about production from your freshman year to sophomore year, specifically in last year's successful season.
I mean, yeah, definitely it was a amazing season for us. We upgraded our first season. We won the regular season. Our second season, we won the regular season and the conference tournament. So it was definitely an upgrade and definitely a goal that we had for ourselves. And me personally, I worked as hard as I could. That's what I keep doing today, and listen to what the coaches have to say to me. Watch myself play. Watch players that I look up to play and see what they do, and then try to improve on myself. Express myself in the field. Give the fans something to cheer for. And yeah, that was basically it. I was glad, and happy that I could help the team win these two trophies, and hopefully we'll add the third one soon.
Yeah.
So we had talked, I believe at the beginning about 2023 so far this season, right? There's been some ups, there's been some downs, but I think for the most part, the soccer team has been able to stay at the top of out of the AAC, which I think is great. So if you had to describe this season, say in one word, what would you say, and why?
Commitment. Commitment to the process. We are held to very high standards, and there's been times this season that we didn't meet those high standards. There's been times in the season where we met these high standards, and it all has to do with commitment. We know that we're a team that when we're committed to do what we need to do, it's very, very hard to stop our team. But there's been times that we weren't as committed as we should. So I think that would be the main word, commitment, for our team, for the good and for the bad, in order to get it rolling and get a very successful season.
And when it comes to your play this year, 4 goals, 3 of them in common conference. I mean, I think about it. It was the Memphis game where you had the game-winning shot. I mean, that was a beautiful. I was trying to get on Sports Center top 10. Unfortunately, it was Tuesday night. That was a great goal. Obviously, you had the goal this past Sunday. Where you're able to hustle down for the ball and able to knock it to match. But talk about your production this year and really being able to do a lot and help this team succeed this far.
I mean, it's my job to produce goals and assists for the team. That's why I'm here, and I'm not close to where I want to be. To be honest, there's things that I want to improve. I want to be able to score more. I want to be able to assist more. So I'm not close to where I know that I can get. So it's been a decent start for me. I'm happy that in conference I've been producing a lot, but outside of conference, for example, in the first games, I had a dry spell there. So there's always things to improve, and it's always important to not get myself too high when things go well, and also not get myself too low if things are not going the way that I expect them to go. So I'm happy, but I know that there's more to be done, and tomorrow people won't remember what I did last week, and if tomorrow I don't go there and produce again, So grateful that I'm able to do good, but there's more to come, and there's definitely more that I can do. So that's where my eyes are set right now.
I do want to talk about kind of this play style you guys have as a team. It's very aggressive type of play style where you guys really press up on the goalie, make sure that they don't have the ball at any time. Would you kind of say that's the play style, the FIU brand of
Hmm.
soccer, you would say?
Yeah, we want to suffocate teams. That's Coach Kyle's, Coach Danny's, Coach Lucas' idea, and that's been the brand since I got here. Very aggressive team, a team that doesn't want to let the other team breathe, a team that wants to establish dominance on the field. Uh, and then when we have the ball, move the ball, express ourselves. We have so many quality players, so just express ourselves on the field, be dangerous, create chances. So it's a whole mix of off the ball and with the ball style of play. But we have our keys for our style, and one of them definitely is our work ethic off the ball, and then when we're in the ball, it's about being dangerous. It's about creating. It's about disturbing the other team because we have quality. Any player that you can say in our team is incredible. So uh, once we commit to these principles, and when we do them right, again, it's very very hard to stop us.
So going off a bit about the FIU brand, right? The high expectations this team has and the work ethic and all of that. If you had to pinpoint one specific game this season where you feel like it's the best example of what you're talking about, the how good FIU can actually look, what game do you think that would be?
Uh, mm, well, like it's hard to say it because I have a couple games in mind, but those are two games that we didn't come off with the win. We came up with a draw, which was against UCF, and it was against SMU.
Mhm.
So I'm not praising the draw, but I'm praising how good can we be, uh, to how dangerous can we be to score. So basically, our second halves for both those games after we were down 2-0
Yeah.
is those are good examples of how dangerous our team. We can score against any team in the country. We can be dangerous against any team in the country. But Temple, the game that we beat them 5-1, Temple is a team that just beat Syracuse right now at their home. So there's no easy games, there's no easy teams, and we were able to establish dominance there. Uh, Memphis, our second half, where we came, we were losing 1-0, and we came with a 1-1, and then the 2-1. It was another game where, especially in the second half, we completely dominated, and we showed our character and our quality. Um, our second, so VCU, that we won 4-0, if I'm not mistaken. Oregon State, that we beat them 2-1 at their house. Like there's some big games that we played, and again, this game against UCF and against SMU, it's not that I'm praising that game because we want to win at all times. We didn't get with the win, but I want to praise how good can our team be when we're committed to what we do. And once that happens, we get goals, and we get uh, very very dangerous, and again very hard to be stopped.
And I guess the guy who runs it all, Coach Kyle Russell, and I mean, unbelievable man. I mean, what he's done with this program has been tremendous. Talk about being able to
Yeah.
be coached by him and his awesome staff, and really being able to create a culture here at FIU and building, a program that is, top 25 in the nation.
No, it's been amazing. Him and Coach Danny were the reason that made me want to come to FIU in the first place. Not Miami itself, or not all these other distractions that may be around Miami, but talking to him, and knowing how much he wants this program to be successful, the plan that he has for the program, and everything that he said to me, letter by letter, he's done. So he's a man of his word. Coach Dan is a man of his word. Um, and it's good. He's a coach. Both him and Coach Danny are both coaches that want to have an intentional relationship with you. So they care about you as a person, not just as a player, and they want to give you the opportunity to become a better player, to move on in your life after, hopefully for a pro team, to give the next step. Um, and they build you up. It's a very honest culture where if you're not doing as good as they expect, they'll tell you, and they'll hold you to that level because they expect from you. But when you do very good, they'll also be the first ones to go tell you, hey, you did amazing. Like, so it's I love working with them, and they also care a lot for us about how we are as people, how we are as men, about building us to be better men in our lives as well. So it's honestly amazing.
I can vouch for that too. We had him on the show. It was one of our I believe it was one of their earliest episodes of the podcast. I want to say episode
Yeah.
4, if that's right, Kevin. We had Cal
I think
Russell
so.
on.
He was definitely one of our first guests, and he was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was super cool guy, fast talker, but he's very precise, and he just loves the sport of soccer, and everything he said, man, it was lights out.
Lights out! Lights out!
Yeah, I'll give it to you, Jay.
It was lights out, right? Okay,
Yeah.
I think it's time for a break. What do you say, Kevin and Johnny?
Let's do it. It's a news break.
It's a news break for the Paws Up podcast, your spot for all things FIU athletics and just FIU in general. So let's get right into it. Today's news break is going to be all about basketball and nuclear reactors because Conference USA has released their preseason all-conference teams for both men's and women's basketball. So let's start with the men's team with Arturo Dean, Paws Up podcast legend, being the FIU's sole representative of all the 9 teams in Conference USA on that list. Coming off a record-shattering freshman season that earned him the Freshman of the Year award, FIU's guard has solidified himself as one of the best players Conference USA has to offer, and of course, we have to wish him the best of luck. And on to women's basketball, as both Kalia Henderson and Tanaja Hayes are a part of the all-conference team for the women's team. So Henderson was the Panthers' leading scorer in 2022, and Hayes was the leader in both assists and steals. Both Henderson and Hayes are aiming to be the dynamic duo of FIU once they look to have another masterclass season. And lastly, check this out. FIU recently received a $5 million grant from the U.S. Department of Energy in the form of a five-year grant for the College of Engineering for their project that they're working on, the Consortium for Research and Education in Cyber Manufacturing Applications for Modular Nuclear Reactors. This project, which also includes UCF, New Mexico, and Alabama A&M, aims to, quote, tackle some of the major challenges facing nuclear power's future, moving the nation one step closer to making these energy sources a viable option, end quote. It includes the idea of modular nuclear reactors that are smaller and more cost efficient. It's believed that out of the 50 students across all of those colleges that are going to be working on this project, 30 of them will be FIU Panthers. So that was your look at the FIU news break. Take it away, Kevin.
Or actually,
Or Johnny.
Yeah, but
They're right next to each other. I get them mixed up like this,
confusing. But Benny, obviously now you guys got 5 games left. Upcoming, you got a pair of non-conference matches, and then you guys finish out with 3 games left in conference. How important is it to have these two kind of these non-conference battles towards the end of the season, kind of get ready and amped up for towards the end of this conference season and getting ready for postseason?
I mean, they're always important because even though they're not conference games, they're still games that help us with our rankings, games that help us keep going up the charts. And also, it's important when we have a break from conference, we cannot spend the whole week without playing. So our 2 very important games for us, both St. Mary's and FGCU. FGCU, a team that we've played every single year that I've been here. In our first year, we beat them 1-0 in overtime. Second year last year, we beat them 3-2. So it's not an easy team. St. Mary's will be the first time that we play, or at least since I'm here, that we play against them.
First time ever in history.
Yeah, ever. So yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a team that one of our coaches, Coach Lucas, he has history. He played there. Coach Lucas Chapenois, he played there. And it's also a very, very good team. It's going to be a very challenging game. So we do not lose any type of motivation just because the games are not from conference. We know that we are on a mission and every game matters to get us closer to our goals.
So I already know that the answer to this question might be everybody, but let's say if you had to pick, let's go with three players on this team that you think deserve the most recognition from both the fans and from both the coaches for the work they've done to help making this team as successful as they have been. Who would you give that award to for those three players?
That's hard. That's hard to that's hard to say.
Guys who aren't, on the
again,
spotlight all the time.
yeah. Again, as you said first, I would say everybody has done a part. And if I would go to pick three, well, Lalo, top scorer.
Mhm.
He's one of the top scorers in the country. He's done amazing. It's his first year here with us, and he's such a good player. It's also my roommate, so I have a close relationship with him, and I'm happy to see him do this well. OT, big center back, number 3, Owen Travis.
Yeah.
Beast. He's the player with the most minutes from our team, and he's done amazing. And the third player, I would say,
Be yourself if you want.
uh, I would say Tyler, our goalkeeper. Our captain, one of our captains, but such an important player from our team, a player that in our first game saved the PK against Oregon State that helped us get the win, a player that had a lot of big saves throughout the season so far, and that a player that has a very big voice on the team, so that helps us get better. A player that I do a lot of finishing with in practice, off practice. So also helps me get better, and I'll help him get better. So it's definitely someone.
Is that Matthias?
Yeah. I guess the fourth player would be Matthias Lavana for sure. But yeah, I would say these three players. But of course, every player has played a role in our team. Like Matthias, for example, like Tim, Paulo, Joao, Fumi, and Joaquim, like so Emilio, so many more. So we have a lot of big players in our team that can change games, that can give us clean sheets, that can give us goals. So yeah.
Just to kind of wrap it up here before we go into some fun rapid fire questions, I want to ask you, obviously, I think the goal for you guys is obviously that AAC title. Aside from that, kind of what are your personal goals moving forward in your career and then for the team as well?
What are my personal goals moving forward? Well, for the team, our goal, and we don't hide it. We're very we're not afraid to say it, that obviously win again our conference, be able to win our conference tournament, is to be able to win every trophy that we play in, and then getting a good season that can allow us to go into the national tournament, and then go after that trophy as well. So our goals are to win every trophy that we play for. And for me personally, is to be the best player that I can be here in FIU, make my mark here in FIU, and after able to give my next step as well, and become a professional player.
All right, again. Let's get into some fun questions here as we start to close things off a little bit. I gotta know, and I gotta say, Matthias is making a great answer for this question from what we've seen. But who would you say is the funniest player on this men's soccer squad?
He's definitely up there. Matthias is definitely up there. Joachim, this guy is unbelievably fun. Like you have to talk to him to understand what I'm saying. But Joao and Paulo, of course, we're the Portuguese Brazilian guys, so we're always joking around with each other. Beltran, big keeper, big goalkeeper, like incredibly funny. If I had to pick one, probably the guy that makes me laugh the most during the day, it would be Joaquin. Joaquin is this fella is on another level, honestly.
I gotta ask Benny, who's getting the aux cord? Who has the best playlist going on the team?
Oh, Mikey. Mikey's always on the aux cord. He got the songs, on game days, on practice, literally everywhere you see him, he's listening to songs. And yeah, but definitely he's our guy. He's our guy this season.
What's your playlist looking like? What's your playlist looking like?
My playlist.
Yeah.
It depends on the day. It depends on the day. But well, here in Miami, of course, I got to listen to a lot of Spanish songs. So yeah, reggaeton, but like rap, and I would say R&B sometimes too. But yeah, I would say these three.
The last question I'm going to ask you here is, who should be the next men's soccer player that we should bring onto the podcast?
I would say Matthias. I would say you guys would have a very good time. A very good time with Matthias. 100%.
So he'll be the next men's soccer player on here.
Jonny, write that down.
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So something I wanted to ask you, because of course, I think the biggest soccer story, pretty much in all of the world for these last few months, has been Messi's unexpected arrival to Inter Miami, right? So I want to know, where were you when you first heard the news that Messi was in fact coming to Inter Miami, and what have you thought about his time here so far?
I mean, I was in Charlotte. I was playing summer league, so I was playing USL2 at Charlotte Eagles. So that's where I was, and it was crazy. I'm also a big fan of Messi, and one of the first things that I thought is that Steven Afrifa, from that he's playing in Sporting KC, and 1 year he's playing with us, and the next year he might play with Messi.
Yeah.
And that's one of the first thoughts, like how crazy it is. We're playing together, and then the year after, he can be playing with one of the best players of all time. But yeah, I mean, he's done phenomenal for Inter Miami. It's a pity that he got injured now through these last games, because I think that if he was playing, they would have definitely a bigger shot of making into the playoffs, to the next phase. But it's he got us, the guys from FIU, getting together to watch Inter Miami play for more than one time, and that's not something that happened before. So you can see that his influence is very big, and it's also amazing, for players like me that want to play in MLS as the next step, like to see that MLS is growing more and more and bringing more quality, and that it's always excited to see. So yeah.
Alrighty then, let's start to wrap up here, and as we always do at the end of these shows, I'd like to give the floor to you, Bernardo dos Santos Monteiro. If you have anything you'd like to say to the fans, to your friends on the team and the alumni about how this season is going, what to expect, now would be the time.
No, keep supporting us like you guys have been doing so far. It's amazing to play in front of you. It's amazing to see our stadium full, game in, game out, and we want to make you guys proud. We want to make history with FIU, and I hope we'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. against St. Mary's. But definitely just keep supporting us, keep showing us love, because we play for you guys. We play to make you guys proud. And yeah, thank you for all the support, and keep showing up, and we'll be here doing our job and make you guys happy.
By the way, we have a follow-up. Matthias says both himself and Coach Danny needs to be next on the show. Sounds good to me. All right. Danny, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Kevin, take it away.
Yeah, so as always, from Benny, from Jake, from Jonny, myself, we'll see you guys on 1 week as we preview FIU football heading over to Sam Houston State as they will take on the Bearcats at 7 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. So as always, peace out and paws up.
Paws up.
Paws up.